And let me pull up chat. Should be live right about now. How are you guys doing? You guys have a really weird angle right now. Let me fix it so you guys can see, and then I'll make it so you can see. Alright, and aim is off. There we go. And hey, check this shit out. Bam. Oh, it's because the tape got messed up. Alright. Bam. Let me get the tape on there all good. I swear I do need a better way of fixing this, but for now I've got to just tape you onto the other one. Gotta fix up the other camera, get you guys all settled, and then we'll start. How are you guys doing? I'm doing good. I can't read chat right now because I'm focusing the camera, getting it all situated. But messy artist, yeah, that's unfortunately just how I roll. But hey, I've got a new. I had this lamp for the last little bit. It's super nice. It's meant for like crafts, like if you do jewelry work or something. But I think it acts as a nice even white light for the sake of art streams and stuff. Charred cord. Thank you for the 7 months of support. Let me make sure that everyone's camera is okay. So the good camera is good, the bad camera that you guys see with, and I feel like it's gonna make it so that way these streams are a little better, because that already looks nicer than it did. Looks good. Good over here too, maybe a slight lean up. How's that? That all right? That looks pretty good. All right, cool. So we're probably not gonna get that far. Are we still taped down? Yeah, unfortunately. That's the best way to do it for now. We're not gonna get too far into this painting today, just because we don't have the time. I'm gonna have to start stream at about 9 or 6. I mean, like reverse the number upside down in my head. I know a lot of people are freaking out about this this virus thing, and as you should. Honestly, it's scary, but maybe I can make it so that way it's comfy and fun to stay home. I don't know how to do things like healthy, but the government and the World Health Organization says, hey, stay home, you know? And so how about, instead of doing what every other influencer and YouTuber out there is doing, how about I just do art? How about I do, stuff that I'm actually good at, rather than trying to, provide information, which I am not qualified to give. Why don't I just provide content so you guys have something to do while you're stuck inside? And for me, that seems like my way of helping, So hopefully. Hey Nat, how are you doing? I am recording, right? All right, cool. Lily Saber, thank you for the 11 months of support. Yeah, we got our first case in Travis County, which is where Austin is, a couple weeks ago. Basically before everything started getting real serious. But more or less, it's not that I want to like, I don't know. I just want to try and provide something else for you guys to focus on and something to do while you're home, So if you want to do art with me, I'm going to be doing art for the next little bit. Zesty Sword, thank you for the 25 months of support. I said it on Artcade, but I should say it here as well. If you guys, and I, thank you to everyone who is resubbing. If you guys, because of your work situation, cannot resub, you guys cannot do that kind of stuff, because your work schedules are getting weird because of this whole thing. I'm gonna figure out a way to make this work. I'm probably gonna run more ads than I normally do, just because Tilda's work looks like it's okay for now. On the off chance that it's not, the ads will be a way to shore up that gap. I might do more bounties and that kind of thing, but I just don't want to depend on the other stuff going on. I don't want to depend on YouTube too much. I don't want to depend on y'all to sub too much, because y'all are going to be in rough situations right now too. So I'm going to make this work so that way we can all just chill, So if you guys are unable to resub because of that, I understand. Do not fret. I will make it work. I'll be okay. I'll let you guys know if I'm not okay, and we'll worry about it then. Sound good? So right now I'm just going to sketch out the painting, and we'll worry about like getting it, perfect in a minute. I had this idea for a painting the other day after the painting that I did on for this week's Arcade. As I was going to sleep, I had this idea. So I'm like, all right, cool. Let's do that. So King Kieran, thank you for the 5 months of support. So we're probably just going to end up sketching it in today. I don't think we're actually going to get to like... We're definitely not finishing it today, and I don't think we're going to get very, very far into it. I haven't done too many art streams recently, I'll be honest. And that's the reason why you haven't been able to catch too many. That's kind of been the issue with that. So... How did I like the torture dance? It's a JoJo reference. What paint am I using? I'm using acrylic. I'm using Liquitex Basic for now. I'm going to switch over to golden in a minute. I used a little bit of golden paint, and every single time I try out my golden paint, I'm like, man, this is so much better. And then I'm like, yeah, but it's expensive, so then I don't use it. So that's a text. Is it an important text or a like whatever text? Don't even tell me what that one was about. Was it a missed phone call? What was that sound? I have no idea what that sound was. I'm still learning my new phone. We got me a new phone the other day. My phone was getting to the point where it was like overheating to the point of almost catching fire. So you're like, you know what? After 6 years, you should probably get a new phone. I was like, okay, I don't really want to, but we ended up getting one from Best Buy, and it ended up being a whole lot cheaper than buying a new one. What kind of phone did I get? I got a Samsung, like last year's Samsung model. It had gone down a lot in price. Yeah, I ran that last phone into the ground. It was an iPhone 6. So like basically anything I got was going to be an upgrade. Like just ancient thing that barely ran. It was to the point that I had to have a external battery plugged in at all times. And Tilda was like, if something happens and I need to get in contact with you and you can't, get back to me because, your phone's dead, that worries me. And I'm like, you know what? You're right. Like, this isn't just like an inconvenience to me anymore. Like, this is an actual problem, All right. So I think maybe you can start to get kind of an idea of what I'm going for with this painting, or at least like the general shape of things. It's just gonna be a dude. I have a couple of pictures that I took with my new phone, just kind of like going. Um, it's gonna be that, but I'm gonna make it look a little bit more spooky. Um, Freak the cats out because I was like wearing like a bed sheet for a little bit, just taking pictures of myself in front of the camera. Uh, have I moved the washing machine videos over yet? I had completely forgotten about them, so no, I didn't. I'm sure they're on. See, the old phone still boots, but it's just like sluggish and not a good idea. So I've turned it on a couple of times to get like, I don't know, Warhammer crap off of it. I wrote my wedding vows on that thing because, when I was working at the game store, that was, when I'd have a free moment, I'd sit down and write my vows at work. Because I was still working there like a year ago. Joey, thank you for the 25 months of support. And then TRNB, thank you for the 26 months of support. Why did I move the art streams off of YouTube? It's mainly just based on like number of people who show up. More people show up to the art streams if they're on Twitch than they do if it's on YouTube. And for a while there, I was doing it on YouTube as well because I wanted to get the channel up to speed. Wanted to get it monetized so that way it would show up in your recommended feed more often. But now that it's up to speed, now that it's technically monetized, it's monetized enough for YouTube to be like, oh, we should recommend this video. And no more. If you run ad block on those videos, I do not care. Those videos do not make money. I don't think I've actually gained any money off of it yet. It's supposed to be making some, but reminds me, I bought plants at Home Depot and named it after you, Rev. That's funny. I'm awful with plants. I can't keep them alive. I'm not really sure what color to make the dude's face. I'm thinking like skull or like pale. So I'm just gonna go with white, like white. Where's white? Oh, and that can't be there. I need to make sure I don't get that in the line of sight for the thing. Where is the white? I know I've got some white paint around here. Are you in here? It's blue. You guys see it? I don't. Oh, there it is. In my like dream, I guess it was a dream, but in the thing I was thinking, I guess before I went to sleep, he was like very like pale and not healthy looking. It's probably a little bit of subliminal like me thinking about the whole virus situation thing. It needs to be a little bit paler than that. Definitely gonna just like cut out the hair, like no hair. He was gonna have like, I don't know, cybernetics or something like that, but I don't really feel like that's necessary. I feel like that muddles the issue a little bit too much. Um, but this is good enough to get us like an idea. A little bit of like green might work. I mean, like we're again just trying to throw in some like base color stuff, so that way we can kind of get an idea for how this is going to go in the end. We're definitely not sticking with any of these colors. This is base coat. I need to get a better stand. This one just kind of... Would I consider making a game for Dreams? I don't have access to Dreams because I don't have a PS4. Some people were talking about doing another game jam, like a Rev game jam. And largely I've not been doing it just because, you know, time. But if other people want to donate their time to try and get it set up, I guess that would be okay. And it would be a thing I could do to make sure that people are staying home and are distracted. Because I'll tell you, the happiest day that I've had recently are the days where I've just been so utterly engrossed in my work and so utterly like focused on what I'm doing that I didn't even think about stuff going on in the world. Like I was able to just like focus on the things that I had to do. You know, watch an episode of JoJo and record this and record that and edit this and do that and play a game of Warhammer, you know, on Tabletop Sim, that kind of thing. And that has been incredibly good. So I'm like, all right, well, how do I give that to other people? You know? Jar Raid, thank you for the sub. That's very kind of you. Okay. So then this is like, there's a bit here that's like that. This is going to be very messy to begin with, but hopefully by the end of it, we can kind of clean it up a bit. We can kind of make it look good. But for now, we're just trying to get like, all right, where are the shapes? I realize that like a lot of people don't actually like just stay home all day. Like that's kind of just what I do, more or less for a living. I'm excited for like all the health, like wellness ads and videos that are gonna come up. Like now that you're stuck at home, how do you exercise if you can't leave your apartment or whatever? You know, and you don't have gym equipment. What do you do? It's like good. I'm waiting for that. I want to know how to do that because I need to like get some exercise in. So hopefully maybe there's a little bit of that coming up. I don't know. It feels bad to be stuck at home. Yeah, no, definitely. I am. If I stay cooped up in the house for too long, I definitely get a little bit of cabin fever. I gotta get out, you know. All right. So then there's this bit here, and it goes from like here on down. Like honestly, cheating with references, awesome idea. I'm glad I took pictures rather than just trying to freehand this because no, that's not happening. And that's the 5 o'clock alarm to remind me to feed the cats. I did it a little early today, so that way I wouldn't have to worry about it. No, it doesn't need to go off again at 5:10. I already fed the kitties. You don't have to remind me, my dude. It's gonna go off again. I don't know how to use this phone. Is it cheating to use references? Absolutely not. That's we were kind of talking about it in the sub Discord the other day about the kind of content that other art channels put out, and how it's just like it's not the kind of content that I really feel like needs to exist. I feel like there's already a dozen videos on the internet about, oh, you know, things you shouldn't say to an artist. Like, wow, that looks really good. Can you draw me? Like, I've seen that video 1,000 times, and yeah, it's annoying when people do that. But like, what about like, I don't know, how do you hang a painting? How do you get into a gallery show? How to do that kind of thing? I don't feel like that's being addressed at all because people don't know how to do that. And the people that do just feel like you should know that, or you went to art school and you do know that. So I'm going to try and focus my channel more on that and that kind of thing. Tracing and recolor. I mean, that's plagiarism. That's bad. But when it comes to stuff like, you know, I took a picture of me hunched over wearing a bed sheet for the sake of this to be able to have a reference. You know, a reference isn't a problem, and I'm going to change it. The bed sheet was green, for example, but in this one it's going to be blue because I want it to be blue because of the associations that I have with the color blue, and with, you know, what blue means to me spiritually and what the color brown means to me spiritually, and the yellows that are going to end up being in here. Like that kind of stuff. Speaking of which, that's kind of just how I see art, is that, you know, colors have, I don't know, sort of like how certain like scales and notes have feeling behind them. Like if I play a minor key, you're gonna feel sad or scared depending. But can we see your reference picture? I don't think the world needs to see me going all spooked and stuff. I took a bunch of pictures. Ended up having to like stop for a bit because I accidentally stepped on Abby, and she went and hid under the couch for a bit. Moogly Ridge, thank you for the raid. How you guys doing? We're doing a little bit of art before I go and do 999. What are you up to, my dude? Make it the thumbnail? So, I'm probably going to do a little bit of this over the next couple of days. Just going to do a little bit of art stream. Then I'll do, you know, whatever game. I need to spend a little bit of time working on stuff for the Town of Nowhere, because that's going to be on Thursday. Noticed you were arting. Wanted to bring the game look nice. Well, thank you. Tried to finish Half-Life Episode 2 with Alex, but couldn't do it. Yeah, it's been a bit since I played Half-Life Episode 2. I think it was like right about when it came out. I think I did it through like Spin Co-op too, which is a thing that I don't think anyone does anymore. I'm pretty sure I played through it with Limes. So I feel like I got everything set up for this week for the Town of Nowhere, but I want to get a little bit ahead of time so I don't have to freak out about it. But I feel like I'm good. Do the colors fluctuate sometimes? It's probably the camera. Yeah, I just noticed it do it. It's something the camera's doing. I'm not really sure what's up with that. I still really haven't mastered how to light a canvas quite right. Hence why someone asked, like, how do I take pictures for Instagram and stuff? I'm like, I have no idea. It's the white balance most likely. Oh, does it have like an auto balancer? I bet you're right. I bet you're right. Configure video. Do you have an auto? So there's no autofocus. White balance is set to auto. Okay, let's turn that off. There it is. Thank you. Natalie got it on the nose. It was set to auto. So every time I move in front of and away from the camera, it does it. All right, later, Joey. Colors were the hardest thing for me for the longest time too, and so I just worked on everything but color. But eventually, I was just like, man, it's so like I ended up taking a painting class in college, and just blew my mind what you can do with paint. Like it just makes things so much more interesting. Like you get so much more like value. Like it's so good. Like I know it's hard, but learn how to do colors because it's so good. It's so good. Like you'll thank yourself because I feel like I've been doing better art since then. Um, but Town of Nowhere is gonna be hyped this week. It's gonna be didn't really intend for the most turbulent episodes to be during like a scary time in the world, but Whoops. It'll be good though. Yeah, I was gonna say like fictional scary might be good to tune into right now. So, um, you know, it's gonna be good. But like I said, I do need to get like a little bit ahead on art assets and planning and stuff like that. I think I've got everything ready for this next one. I think I'm good. Um, I'm just trying to plan like 2 or 3 streams out as far as assets go. The police interrogation thing freaked you out? Yeah. Yeah. I kind of figured it was going to do that to some people. But again, it's better to do fake scary than real scary. And that's probably too light on the blues. That's okay. It's meant to just be placeholder-ish. I'll probably upload this to Artcade as well, even though I said a cuss word. I try not to on that channel, for the sake of the YouTube algorithm. But I think more so than anything, just not saying anything to do with video games seems to be more helpful. It's hard to tell. I'm still getting stats on it, but it's an interesting thing. Do you watch All Gas No Brakes? I have no idea what that is. Never even heard of it. Is it good? I know that Animal Crossing is coming out soon, so I don't know how many people would be interested, but got any tips for oil painting? Not particularly. It's not my media. It's too slow for me. I feel like it's more forgiving than acrylic. Acrylic is very unforgiving. If you screw something up with oil, you can always fix it. But with oil, you also have to like make sure you're well ventilated and stuff like that. There's a hand like down here somewhere, but I'm not gonna bother with it until I get the other colors painted in. Well, thank you, Vague. Should be pretty good in the end. All right, and then we're just doing like the base coat stuff. So it's think of this like a rough sketch, like acrylic wise. Like you get a general idea of what I'm going for without it being, you know, perfect. We're gonna just like cover the entire painting in paint, which means that the good paint will stick better and all that jazz. I think the main thing, I guess, with oil is you got to realize that it's gonna be wet on wet. It's gonna be wet for freaking ever, you know. Like there are paintings in the Louvre that are still wet from when the artist painted them. Oil paint stays wet for a really long time, and that can be used to your advantage, but you're also going to have to deal with that. So if you want to quickly do a painting, oil is not really forgiving of that. Like if you want to just like bang a painting out real quick, like there are bits of this painting that are just dry. They're bone dry at this point. That probably wouldn't be the case if I was working in oil, you know? Oil, if you know that about oil and you know what media, like mixing media is, like liquid specifically, really, liquid actually, the concept of liquid is what made me a painter. Like, swear to God, if you are a person who's wanting to get into oil, learn what liquid is, buy some, use some, do not eat it. It smells like candy. It will kill you. It smells amazing though. Super sugary. Will kill you. Kids and animals do not know better. It basically speeds up drying time. So if you know that you're going to get the right paint in the right spot, more or less, and you want it to dry sometime today, or at least, you know, relatively soon, you can get that done with you can get that done with liquid. You can actually finish a painting at some point. At some point, sometime like relatively soon after you start it with oil. So I guess if you're looking for advice on oil paintings, there you go. That's what I got. I don't have a whole lot there. I'm sorry. They also make non-toxic solvents. Yeah, but for oil, I don't know. Oh, why have you stopped recording? That's super annoying of you. Don't do that. I need you to keep recording the whole time I'm working, my dude. Oil paint. I mean, art is expensive in of itself. Art is very expensive. Or doing some stuff for a. I was working on a show once. It was one of the first shows that I did. Years ago. One of my friends who wasn't an artist but was like helping support the cause that we were raising money for. I was like, hey, I need to go down to Jerry's, which is a local art store. I need to get some art supplies. You want to come with? And she was like, yeah, man. So we go there, and she's like, wow, this is really expensive. And I'm like, yeah. Yeah, it is. Yeah, it's really expensive. And she's like, is this why artists are broke? And I'm like, yeah. Yeah, it is. Wonder how she's doing. I haven't talked to her in a while. Not like out of a like I don't like her sort of thing, but just like a I don't know. I've been busy. She's been busy, sort of thing. Thank you for the 100 bits there, drawing at 3 a.m. I like acrylics because if you have cats like I do, um, it's um, it's not as harmful. Like as long as you make sure they're not drinking the water. But like the I cannot ventilate this apartment well enough to be an oil artist. My painting style and my color palette would be much, much better suited for oil. Acrylic is much, much better at bright, vibrant kind of colors, more graphic designy kind of stuff. I still paint like an oil painter, but it's just, it does not work with the way I think or work or any of that. So it's better for me to just do acrylic, you know? It kind of depends on your mood and your temperament and the aesthetic you're trying to go for. You can get oil painty looking stuff with acrylic. It's just you have to go a little bit more out of your way, and vice versa. But you just do whatever works for you and your style and aesthetic and your lifestyle. Um, at the end of the day, it's a tool to allow you to do stuff. Um, I got the theme song from Golden Wind stuck in my head. JoJo. I've been trying to keep up with that a little bit better. Watch a little bit of every day. So that way I'm like ahead at all times. In case if like I need to, you know, I don't know. I can have days off. And I don't have to binge like 8 episodes in one day. Just works out better. I don't know as of how I feel about the blue in the background as well. I feel like that's going to get a little muddled. I feel like it needs to be a very different blue. Maybe it could be green. What if it were green? I don't know. We'll see. Yeah. It's unfortunate the artist supplies are so expensive. Um, there's nothing I can really do about that, but I want it to be at least where art education isn't as expensive. So I'm trying to like, you know, I'm not probably the most knowledged in any of the stuff that I'm talking about, but that information is just so hard to get your hands on. And that's kind of what I was aiming for with Artcade is like I get to share my stupid opinions about art and force you guys to listen, and then hopefully provide some sort of like I don't know advice or stuff that you couldn't get access to easily or doesn't exist on the internet in any coherent way, you know. Because a lot of it's out there. A lot of the stuff that I've talked about on Arcade is out there, but it's like it's jumbled and it's got like weird sourcing issues and it's not always accurate and it's not. I don't know. It doesn't make sense. I wanted to just be so that way people can do art. Um, I made a video a while back, and I'm still not sure if I still agree with it or not. About like for me personally, I feel like art school was good, but But for some people, I don't know as if it's gonna be. I don't know as if it's worth it for some people. And I recommended it in that video. But now I'm like, I don't know. I don't know as if I agree with that still. I feel like I needed it though, me personally. And I think that's what I ended up saying. Was for me it was a good choice because I needed to be challenged, and I needed to have someone hold my hand to force me to do art. And eventually that ended up just becoming Artcade as well. That I could just, less so than the money, like directly, but the actual like idea that people are paying me on Patreon to do art, that if I don't do the art, then I become a jerk, right? Forces me to do the thing that I want to do in the first place, if that makes sense. Like with music, it's always something that like, oh, I'll get around to it, I'll do it, and art for a while was like that as well. Thank you for the St. Patrick's Day bits there, Top Houndor. We're gonna have to stop here in a minute, but we got some good like base paint sort of stuff going on. Like I sculpted out where I want everything more or less. I'd like to get some details done on the face real quick, because I feel like that's a little bit shaky right now. Like there's no details for the face. You know what? Hold up. And then here you go. Done. Perfect. Great. It's a nice chin. He's like slowly having his chin dissolve. He's gonna have a suspiciously familiar brow line. I'm probably gonna skip out on. Well, I'll probably have to give him eyebrows, else it will be weird. I was gonna say I'll skip out on the eyebrows, but that's just weird. It's just super weird. It's meant to be a little bit like a robe, but I don't feel like that's the way it's coming off. Alright, so then it goes out to like here, and then the hand is like this. Probably should have gone and got a robe to wear to do the little hunched like, I'm a scared dude doing things, and you're freaking me out by being over there. Stop it. That's kind of what I was going for with this painting, but kind of just looks like a dude trying to go get ginger ale because he's sick, but whatever, close enough. Alright, and then we're gonna like went to the store today, and we needed to get some bread. You know, bread, cheese, stuff like that. Like, I kind of just figured I'd go in, get some real quick. Disinfectant wipes, we had some, but, you know, we needed some more. We didn't buy anything really before the craze started, and I will be honest. They removed the sign for the bread aisle. Like, it's not even that we didn't have a bread aisle, or like there wasn't bread. They just didn't have a bread aisle anymore. There just wasn't bread. Bread was not a thing you could buy at the grocery store. Which was just like, oh, okay then. They're just like, nah, you can't have that. It's like, all right, well, never mind then. So out of the things that Tilda asked me to get, I got one of them. I got cheese. I got the cheese, and I got myself some Cokes. I'm liking how this is coming along. This is actually turning out pretty good. Normally I hate my underpaintings. But this one's alright, you know? It's still a while to go before it's a good painting, but as far as an underpainting goes, like, you can see where it's going. The only bread that was available was like kosher sourdough, and I hate sourdough. It's also kind of a madhouse, so it's like, you know what? I'm just gonna dip. It's good. Like, not worth. I know. I mean, I know how to make bread, so we'll probably do that. Like, I make pretty good bread, but it's like, it's more. I don't know. I guess I could do a cooking with Rev on that. But I digress. Sourdough. Listen, I like sourdough as sourdough. I don't like sourdough as, like, I don't know. Sourdough is good, but not for sandwiches. I don't like it for sandwiches. I like it for, like, I don't know. You get a little bit of cheese, you get a little bit of sourdough bread, you know, a little bit of, like, random salami or something. Yep, up. It's good. But that's not. We needed, like, bread for sandwiches. Since spring break started, children have been screaming constantly. You can probably hear them outside. So does he get a nose? I don't know. I'm kind of on the fence about the nose situation. Like, I don't know if he deserves a nose. Dude might not need one. No nose. He could be a little skeleton boy. Like, originally I had an idea of giving him, like, a glowy eye and a non-glowy eye, but then I realized that just makes him sans. And, because one of them was going to be, like, blue glowy, and the other one was going to be just hidden. But that's not going to work. Gotta make it a little bit like less. I don't know. I'm just kind of trying to like sketch in where things are gonna be. Like we got a little bit right here. That's gonna be a thing. It's like a cheekbone there, and then a cheekbone here. Feel like we need to probably sculpt in some nosy bits. Boop, 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 boop. This is kind of whereabouts his nose will be. We got a little bit here and a little bit here. It just kind of goes like so. And that's kind of like the cheek to nose area. Then we're going to have like it gradually get a little bit darker as it goes closer to the hood. Like so. Just vibing, just chilling. And he's definitely gonna have like, oh no, you saw me face. That's the expression I'm going for. Like, ugh, what are you? Why are you here? Get out of my house. If I have a cold, will the cold protect me from the virus? I would assume not. No. I would assume no, that's not the case. I am not a doctor, and therefore not a valid person to be asking. But I'm going to assume it's like all other diseases where it's just like you're sick with one thing, it just makes it easier for the other things to get you. But again, I'm not a doctor, so don't trust me on anything I say. CDC says to stay inside. I'm staying inside. What can I do to help? I'll try and keep other people inside. Why is he sad? Because scary. I need to get better about talking about my creative process and stuff like that. I realized that when I was talking in the last Artcade video that I'm just like very closeted about my emotions when it comes to my art. Like art is supposed to be out. A lot of people believe anyway. That art is supposed to be out self-expression and all that. And boy, howdy, am I not doing that? Like, well, no, I am. It's like you have to know my secret little internal language in order to actually get any of it. But the thing is that no one does because I don't explain it, and because you don't explain it, because I don't explain it, no one gets it, and so then it becomes kind of like just not saying it in the first place. So to me, I feel like certain colors have certain moods and things to them. A lot of people associate like certain colors with certain things. It is regionalized. It is, in a lot of ways, based on completely kind of random stuff. Like in Japan, the color white is like a scary color, because like how are you wearing, like how are your clothes so pure white? That's freaky. It's a ghost right there. There's 100% a ghost. If you can keep your clothes completely pale white, despite the fact that like daily life will get in the way of that, nah, you are a ghost. And so you know, sort of like the whole black cats is bad luck thing. Well, you know, I got 2 of them. I love them. So, you know, it's a regional thing to believe these things. And so I feel like for me, understanding what colors do for me, what they mean to me, functionally, is the most important part of my paintings in a lot of ways, as far as like, I don't know, most important is, that's a little bit much. It's definitely one of the more important bits of my process is color and composition, naming convention, that kind of thing. I am I'm a painter, not a writer or a singer. Not a singer anymore, anyway. And so I'm not good with words. I've been trying to make my names of my paintings a little bit more on the nose, um, to help people figure out what they're about. And that's helped with some. Like, why be happy today when there's always tomorrow? And stuff like that. I cannot write music. I've tried. I'm not good at it. Um, so, yeah. Did that explain anything? No. Actually, it did exactly the opposite. I did not explain what any of these colors functionally do or why they're here. They're just here. And you're like, okay, colors have to do with things. Sure, Rev. And then I didn't explain them. So, that's good. Um, Show us the streaming room, Skull. He's kind of over there. He's out of the way. Care to elaborate? No, I don't want to know that guy. Me? I don't want to know how he's doing. What are you talking about? All right, so where do we go from here in 30 minutes? Are those humanely sourced bones? It's a plastic prop. Sometimes I just slap neon magenta in my drawings for no reason because besides, it hurts my eyes and I like it. It's interesting collection of words. Oh, human? No, I don't. Oh, humanly sourced. No, I thought you said humanely sourced, and I'm like, well, yeah. I mean, I try and make sure that all my things are humanely sourced. You know, when it comes to the human body parts, do my best. He's just gonna end up looking like Emperor Palpatine, isn't he? Not looking at chat, but I see it moving very fast now, so I must have hit something. Alright. I'm probably gonna keep my 999 stream pretty close to 2 hours today. I didn't really spend much time with Tilda yesterday, and I'd really like to tonight, so I might start stream a little bit early because I'm looking at what needs to be done at this point to this painting, And it's not going to be like a quick, like, oh, well, just, you know, slap on a little bit of color and we're good situation. It's going to be a much longer thing. And because of that, I feel like that means that we're probably at a temporary stopping point. Like, yeah, I'm sorry, y'all. I gotta take care of my wife first, then worry about other things. But I think the discussion of a, I mean, it depends. I feel like, you know, doing back to the discussion of the um, game jam. I feel like everyone's gonna be wanting to play like New Leaf and or something like that. You know, Doom Eternal's coming out, New Leaf's coming out. I feel like everyone's gonna be into that right now. Um, and so it's like, well, would anyone want to, or not New Leaf? Yeah, New Horizons. Sorry, I'm not getting it. Tilda is. Tilda's super hyped for it. Um, depending on how the save system works, depends on whether or not I'll be streaming it too. Well, thank you, Grinberg. Um, I think we might be at the part where I gotta stop for a bit. But I think the schedule for the next like few days is gonna be a little bit of art, a little bit of art stream, regular stream as scheduled, um, and then working on Town of Nowhere a little bit, off stream of course. Can't really very well work on it while you guys are watching, right? Because it's just like, oh yes, well this will be for the part where that thing happens. So when did it stop? I can't hear it stopping today. Doesn't look like it stopped too. We didn't miss much. We just missed a little bit on that one. Okay. So that's where I think we'll call art for today. Because I think we need to set up for 999. So hopefully you enjoyed this. If you did, let me know. If you didn't, let me know. This is going to be good enough for an underpainting. And we can come back in with like more detail and that kind of jazz tomorrow. Looking good so far. Thank you. If you enjoyed this, I have an art channel. It is RevScarecrow Artcade. I figure doing art streams is my way of helping. You know, I can't cure the virus. I can't, do anything about it, but I can at least make your day a little bit better while you're stuck at home. So might as well, right? Anyway, give me a few minutes, and then I'm gonna start streaming again here on this channel with 999. I'll see you guys in a minute. All right. BRB. Oh, I should probably run like an ad or something, right? That's how this is supposed to go. I'm supposed to run like ads every now and then. All right, there we go. BRB.